Hello, I'm Debbie Cleek, and I'd like to welcome you to Leap into Embroidery with Embrilliance software and andthegrand.com. Today we're going to cover Essentials, Enthusiast, Alphat Trix, and Density Repair Kit. We're going to cover the top features of these 4 software titles. So we've got a lot to cover. Let's get started. Well, here we are in Essentials to get things started. You'll see we've got a hoop on our page. You'll see up here is the title bar. It's Embrilliance software, and we have an untitled design page, number 1. We'll see here's our menu bar. Here's our toolbar. And here's our tool pane. Over here is our object tree and our properties. If we had a design on our design page, there would be a listing of all the parts of the design here, all the objects of the design listed here. And then the properties would be displayed here and would be editable from here as applicable. Let's get started. We'll talk about these things as we go through the features of the software. We've got 4 pieces of software to cover. We've got Essentials, Enthusiast, Alphat Trix, and Density Repair Kit. So I think it's better rather than go through each individual tool, we bring in a design. So we'll go to File, Merge Stitch File, go to my demo designs, bring in my And the Grand Butterflies, click Import, and there is my design on my design page. Okay, the first thing let's talk about is sizing. With Essentials, you can size up 200% and size down 50%. So, and I would recommend that you don't then save that design, bring it in and size it more, save that design, bring it in and size it more. You're going to end up with a nightmare stitch out. Trust me on this one. But to size a design, we'll just click on it, select a corner if I want to size it symmetrically, select a side handle or a top or bottom handle if I want to size it asymmetrically. So I want to size this design symmetrically, so I'm going to click on a corner handle, but while I'm sizing it, I'm going to hold my Shift key so it sizes it from the center out. Okay, so there's our design sized larger. If you notice, our stitch count down here did increase by 9,000 stitches. Now we'll size it smaller. I'll hold my Shift key again, size it smaller. This time it reduced my stitch count by about 7,000 stitches. Your stitch count is found right down here in the bottom right-hand corner of your design page, next to what is the design size, overall design size that you have selected, and the hoop that you have selected. Okay, so that is sizing. Remember, 200 up, 50 down, and you'll be good. You'll be golden. While we're talking about sizing, we should probably talk about the Fit to Hoop button. The Fit to Hoop button will allow you to size your design in a single click, large enough or small enough to fit whatever selected hoop you have on your design page, not exceeding the 50% down or the 200% up. So let's click on the Fit to Hoop button. Oh, it did size it a little bit larger. It's 213%. Probably because I fiddled with it before and already had it sized a little bit. But it'll stay right in that 200% for norm when you're sizing with the Fit to Hoop button or using one of the handles. Okay, so that is sizing. Remember, your stitch count is always down here in the bottom right-hand corner of your design page, next to your selected size of the design and your hoop that you have selected on your design page. Now, if you don't want to see the hoop on your design page, simply press the H on your keyboard and the hoop will disappear. If I want to see it again, press H again, and that hoop will reappear. Okay? So that's kind of a neat little tip or trick. Sometimes that hoop can kind of get in your way seeing it there. Or sometimes you need to see it there so you know what confines you need to work within if you know what size you want to make your design. Say I'm making a quilt block and I'm making them 10 by 10, I'm going to have 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch seams. So I have 1/4 inch on each side. So that's going to leave me, X amount of sizing for my design in the center. 8 by 8 is a good size for the center of a 10-inch quilt block. So I'll need to know those confines as I'm working with my design. Okay, let's size this back down. Yep, 51%. But I'm going to size it a little bit larger. Put it up here in the corner because the next thing we're going to talk about is color sorting. So I'm going to right click on this design and copy it. And then I'm going to right click on this design and paste it. So now I've copied and pasted it at the same location. So I can click one of them and move it down here in this bottom quadrant of my hoop. Go to Edit, select all, Utility, Color Sort. And before I color sort this design, let's talk a little bit about what color sorting does. What it will do is it will take, so I don't have to change the thread twice the number of times for this design. That's 2 identical designs with identical colors. It will reduce the number by 50%. So it will combine the colors that are identical into a single color change. So I'm not having to change my threads 2 times for each butterfly, for each color. Okay, so let's click on color sort. Right now, this design has 30 unique colors. It'll tell you that down here. It'll be 15 needles, 15 color changes, and 30 different colors. So let's go up here to our utility menu, click on color sort. It has reduced this design by 15 colors. Now we can save it and it will save color sorted, or we can click on a new view, which will open this design up into a new view. Click on the plus sign And 15 colors is what I have. It's combined all of the like colors together to create a single color change where before there were two. If you have any questions, don't forget you can type them into the message box on the messenger, whatever it's called. I'm sorry. Okay, now that we've talked about sizing and color sorting, let's talk about removing hidden stitches. Let's go back here where we have our two separate designs. Let's bring this one up over here and go to Edit, select all, and the little scissor button here, that is our Remove Hidden Stitches. I'm going to click on that and see how it's removed those stitches from that butterfly. Now, if I want to reposition it, that's fine. I can reposition that butterfly and click on Remove Hidden Stitches again, and it will remove those stitches once again. It will not remove those stitches with finality until you save that design. How do I know that? Well, in your preferences, if I go to jumps and overlaps, you have a checkbox that says remove overlaps when saving stitch files. There is a check mark in that box, which means that it will remove overlaps when I save that design. Now, if I wanted to remove the overlap in an applique, I need to also have the box checked to treat applique objects labeled applique position as filled. Then it will also remove that top applique stitch, that satin that can sometimes look a little bit wonky under your applique sections. Okay. Let's see. We have our print, so we can print a template of this now that we have it set out the way we want it. Okay, let's select all. And let's use this button to center my design into the design page or the hoop. And let's go to our utility menu and let's select Based Design. See, that will give me a nice basted stitch around my design to hold my fabric to my stabilizer while I'm stitching my design. It's always a good idea, especially if you're not using spray adhesive, to baste your fabric to your stabilizer before beginning your stitching, and it will automatically place itself. That first color change is going to be your basting. It's going to do that for you automatically. Okay? Something else that happens kind of automatically is the project advisor. It's going to give you stitching tips based on your project or fabric type selected. You have your recommendations here for a needle, thread, topping, and a backing. It also gives you a paragraph about that fabric that you're stitching on and some helpful, handy tips and tricks you might want to read up on and add to your embroidery repertoire. Okay, once I have my design the way it is, let's go to this one here. Now I can use my sewing simulator and sew through my design. Let's speed this up a little bit and see how it's sewing those together. Okay, let's just take this little slide bar here and help it along a bit. Yes, you can drag your slide bar. The next thing I want to talk about is colors or threads. Down here in your properties box, you'll see we have a listing of the threads that this design needs to be completed. They're all in Brother Embroidery. When I click on my thread button, you'll notice I have Robust and Anton Rayon listed there. I'm going to click that as use this as my preferred thread brand. Click OK. And then whenever you have a design that comes in like that, like this one here with Brother Embroidery, I'm going to click my preferred button and it's going to change them all to Robust and Anton thread colors with a single click. Is that not awesome? If I want to make this a one color design, I would click on the one color button, select a color, and then I can make it a monochrome design. This isn't really a design that lends itself well to monochromatic sewing. So I'm just going to tell you about it and save you the pain of showing it to you. Let's talk for the last couple minutes we have left before we have to move on to Enthusiast. Let's talk a moment about the preferences in Essentials. You have hoops in Essentials, multi-position and normal hoops. Now, one thing I can tell you is you cannot create your own multi-position hoops in Essentials. You can do that in Enthusiast, and we'll talk about that there. But these are your hoops. Your display settings, I can just show my display as lines or dots, and I can set it right now. It's set for 1 inch, which is a good setting. What I really want to talk about is printing. Remember I told you we have the printer icon up here for printing a template? When I click on printing, these are my options I have for printing a template. If you want to print and not show your jump stitches, you want to print with a realistic rendering, that will not show your jump stitches. You want crosshairs for using it as a template and being able to align it, say, with the crosshairs you've drawn on your garment or your fabric square. You can select that option. If you're trying to make a catalog of your designs, you can print the design only with no text. If I'm trying to match, say I had something go wrong at my machine and I need to rehoop my fabric and restart my design, I can choose to print selected colors only. So then I will only get those selected colors to align up with the colors that I've already started with, so I can kind of position that within the design so I can hopefully salvage that. I've done it myself a number of times where I've just printed selected colors and been able to fit that in with the other colors that are there and use my crosshairs to mark and find my center and start restitching from where I left off. That's really it for the preferences. That's all we're going to talk about. We're going to move on now to Enthusiast. Oh, wait. No, we're not. We're going to talk about some text first. We're going to get a new design page. We're going to talk about text. We can talk about creating letters in Enthusiast as well, but I wanted to talk about the 12 fonts that come with, and I've got more than 12 fonts here. You notice I've gotten the Ace, I've got the ACE alphabet. I've got the rewind. I've got the Merrily. I've got a number of fonts in here, but I also have the 12 fonts that Essentials comes with. Essentials comes with 12 fonts. Enthusiast only comes with one, being the block font. Okay? So let's pick one here that I know is a Essentials font, and that's this one here, Roman. I can do single line. I can do multi-line. Embroidery. Designs.com. Okay? So that's 3 lines of text. Now, if I want to do this one line, let's do it a single line. And let's change that to a curve. Let's place it on the bottom. And let's adjust my radius. There we go. Let's adjust my spacing. There we go. Now, all of these things that we've done here, all these tools, let's move my box up just a skosh. The slant, spacing, word spacing, and line spacing are all available on all the different types of fonts that you would do. Of course, you're not going to have line spacing on single line spacing, but you are going to have word and character spacing and slant. Just like you're not going to have your radius on your single or multi-line, but you are going to have, all of your other things as well. You're not going to be able to place it on the bottom or the top. You can also, if you're doing a hat, you have the ability to start in the center and then move from left to right or right to left. You can reverse, which means sew from the back to the front. You have all these different options here as to where you want to start stitching your text. The one that really comes in handy are the ones that start in the center and go left and right or right and left for stitching hats. You have a stitch tab, which is going to give you options for a fill. If I wanted to give this a decorative fill, I could certainly do that. I have all these decorative fills built in. I can adjust my density. I can remove my hidden stitches. I can adjust my underlay. And I can click on Use Default. Once I've tweaked this and I forgot where I started at, I can always click on Use Default and it will take everything back to the default. Okay? That's Essentials in a nutshell. If you have any questions, don't forget to submit them in the message box, and I will be sure and answer them for you. I'm going to close this out. We're going to go back to the Embrilliance demo. I'm going to remove the check mark from Essentials, go to Enthusiast, click OK. Now in Enthusiast, we have a number of things to talk about as well. If you notice, it kept the 8x8 hoop. We're going to talk about knockdown stitches, stitch editing, and basting the hoop. You notice in Essentials, we basted the design. In Enthusiast, we can baste all the way around the entire hoop, which comes in handy when I have something kind of large and stiff that I want to keep away from the needle. I have based hoop as an option. I also have instant repeat, mirror times 4, carousel, and scatter, which we will talk about. So let's get started. I think we have a lot to do. Let's go to File, Merge Stitch File, go to my demo designs, and let's just jump right in and talk about knockdown stitches. Let's bring in these grapes and say I'm going to stitch these on a towel with a monogram. Okay, and I don't want these little tendrils and these tiny little grapes to get lost in the nap of the towel. So I'm going to come up here to Utility. I'm going to go to Add Knockdown Stitching. I don't think I need it bi-directional. Well, maybe I will. It's an awfully thick towel. So I'm going to keep it bi-directional. I'm going to leave the density as it is. Stitch length is probably okay. And the inflation at 5 millimeters, I'm happy with that because I'm stitching it on a sample first. I'm doing a test sew. So I want to see how the default sew before I start tweaking anything. So I'm going to click OK. Yeah, I think I can live with that. Remember, the whole point is to have your stitching out far enough away from your design so that nap doesn't fall over and hide your design. And of course, I'm going to stitch my knockdown stitches, or my underlay, as it's called in the object tree. I'm going to stitch that in the color that matches the towel. If I don't have a color that matches the towel, I'm going to stitch it in monofilament. That works quite nicely, especially in the summertime with all the vibrant beach towels that are available now. Stitch it in monofilament, then you don't have to worry about what thread to match to the stripes, which stripe to match your thread to. Okay, so that is your knockdown stitch. It is, as I showed you, fully editable. So let's get another design page. Let's go to File, Merge Stitch File. Let's go to our demo designs. This time let's bring in that butterfly. Let's zoom in on this a little bit, because what I want to do, this is going to be fine for the over my pocket because it's only a 3.5 by 3.5 roughly design. So it'll be fine for over my pocket, but I want to put something around the cuff of my jean shirt. So I'm going to come up here to my Stitch Edit tool. I'm going to use my freehand select, and I'm going to come over here and I am going to select this butterfly. And I'm going to use this tool here to split those stitches into a new design. And here is my second design. I can select that. Let's turn off my stitch editing. I can select that, right click, copy it, get a new design page, right click, paste it, and here's my little design. Now what I can do, I want this to go around the cuff of my jean shirt. So I can go to my utility menu, go to instant repeat. I want 5 across, Well, shnikey doodles, I got to have it selected first. Go to Utility, go to Instant Repeat, go back to 5. Okay, add a little space between them. Click OK, and there we go. Now, if I had Essentials installed as well, I could go to Utility and color sort this design also. So keep that in mind. That's how they build on each other. Okay, so let's go back to our original design page. We've got our little butterfly here. Let's talk a little bit more about the stitch editing. Let's use, I can box select or I can brush select. And I'm going to remove this butterfly from the design altogether. So I am going to brush select these stitches. There we go. Now I can take this butterfly, since I've already copied and pasted it to the next design page, I can select it and delete those stitches as well. If I wanted to change part of this design to Mylar, I can select stitches from my object tree and delete them like that. That way I could put Mylar underneath there. How pretty would that be? Okay, let's get a new design page. Let's go File, Merge Stitch File, Demo Designs. Let's zoom in on this a bit. Okay, I want to remove the scissors and the comb from this design. So I'm going to click on the Stitch Edit tool. I'm going to go to the rectangle select. And I'm going to remove as much as I can without getting the blow dryer. Do that. When you use it this way, it usually takes a couple different times to get all your stitches removed. Just to let you know, because things aren't always symmetrical. Okay, almost there, almost there. Now let's use our brush. Come along here and get these last 4 or 5 stitches. Delete. There we go. Now all I have is a blow dryer. I can change the color to match my girlfriend's hair salon and put that on their smocks with the block font is all you have in Enthusiast. Let's size this down just a skosh. Hold my shift key down. Zoom out just a bit. There we go. How cute would that be on their little smocks that the hairdressers wear? Okay, so far we've talked about stitch editing, we talked about center and hoop, align and distribute, designer, save image. Okay, I've got this beautiful mock-up for my friend's beauty shop. Now I can go to utility, save image. I'm going to save it as a JPEG. I'm going to click OK. I want to color. Click OK. Untitled JPEG file. Click Save. Let's do that one more time. Go to Utility. Go to Save Image. Click OK. OK. Now let's get a new design page. Or actually, let's go down here to File Explorer. And here is my JPEG. Let's set this view to extra large icons. Let's see if it's going to show me my... And there is my mock-up. Ready to send to Ricky's hair salon to see if this is what she wants for her girls for their smocks she's giving them for Christmas. And there's nothing wrong with that block font. It's very legible. It's nice and clean. Even though that's the only font you have when you first get Enthusiast, it doesn't mean you're dead in the water because it's a very nice, legible font, easy to stitch, works with a lot of different things, and you can always add BX fonts later. Okay, let's look at some of the options under the utility menu. So let's go to File, Merge Stitch File. Let's go to Demo Designs. Let's scroll down here and let's bring in the tractor. Let's see how big it is. Let's select it. Let's go to Utility. Let's see if I can carousel this puppy. Yes, I can. So now I've carouseled this. I've got 5 of them. I can rotate them. I can rotate them individually. I can invert every other one. I can auto rotate or not. And the height and width you have up here is typically going to be your hoop size. I'm trying to get that red to go away. Something is too big for my, there we go. One of them was a tiny bit outside the hoop. Click OK. Once again, what are we going to do? We are going to put a monogram in the middle of that. We're going to hold down our Shift key and size this. And there is a monogram for my little John Deere tractor loving kid to put on a throw pillow for his bed. Alrighty, let's get another new page. Let's bring in another design. Merge Stitch File, Demo Designs. Triple holly, okay. Utility, oh, let's select it. Utility, scatter. Now scatter lets you, and I want this to be 200 by 200. I want a new pattern because I want more of them. I can adjust my minimum and my maximum size and my spacing that's going to be allowed between them. I can auto rotate and random mirror image them, and then I can click on new pattern until I find one that I like. Now imagine you're making a holiday tote bag to take all your goodies to all your friends and family for the holidays. And this could be a nice center panel or a pocket with some cute little holly berries and leaves embroidered on it in just a random pattern. How cute would that be? The only thing missing is a spot to put a monogram. Okay, one more new page. Let's see, we have talked about instant repeat. We've talked about carousel and scatter. We have not talked about mirror times 4. So let's go to File, Merge Stitch File, Demo Designs. Okay, let's go to Utility, Mirror times 4. Okay, kind of went off the design page. Let's do that. Let's do that one more time. Let's go to File, Merge Stitch File, Demo Designs, Grape Leaf. Okay, let's move it over here. Let's rotate it. This is my rotation. Utility, mirror times 4. I can adjust my angle. I can adjust my gap. Okay, there we go. Come on, Zoom. Cooperate. And yes, there is a place for a monogram. Let's turn our hoop off. Okay. Oh, we were going to talk about, let's turn our hoop. Let's go back here. And let's go to Utility. And let's go to Based Hoop. Because if I'm going to make that pocket, I'm probably going to have it pre-cut or not. Maybe I'm going to have it sewn on. Maybe I'm just going to make a panel on my bag and not make it a pocket at all. And I want to stitch these on the panel on my bag. Then I can baste my hoop, which will baste all the way around the outside perimeter of my hoop, as opposed to just the design in Essentials. Okay? Let's get a new design page. And let's talk for just a moment about Align and Distribute. Let's bring in File, Merge Stitch File. I'm going to copy and paste a few of these. Okay, now I want to align these. So if I want to align these, I want to align these center. Let's select them all. Align them center, click apply, and there we go. They're all aligned center. Now I can also distribute them. Extent of selection, extent of hoop, spacing. That will space them. Then I can come back up here and align them. And now they're all evenly spaced. And they need essentials to be color sorted. Okay? So that's all we're going to talk about with Enthusiast for now. Again, you have your millimeter, your size, your percentage of size, your rotate, your mirror image, your center in the hoop. You don't have a what button? Fit to hoop, because there's no sizing in Enthusiast. Okay, let's talk just before we go to density repair kit or Alphat Trix. Let's talk for a minute about this red bar. What this red bar means is it's too large to stitch in the selected hoop. Okay, it's going to have to be either moved closer together, those designs, or sized smaller or a larger hoop used. Okay, when it is yellow, when that bar at the bottom is yellow, that means that it will fit in that hoop, but it will need to be rotated. And when it has no color at all, you're golden, you're good to go. Okay? So let's go to, without further ado, let's go to Alphat Trix. Had a lot of design pages open there. Let's go to my Embrilliance demo again. Let's go to Alphat Trix. Okay, and let's talk about importing a font. You're going to click on the Import a Font button, which is this little ABC with the needle by it. The first thing it's going to ask you is, would you like to begin importing a font? Well, I'm going to tell it yes. I am going to find a font on my I'm going to select all, and I'm going to import. Now I'm going to scroll through, and I'm going to look for letters that have ascenders or descenders. In other words, fonts that go above the line and fonts that should go below the line, like the G, the J. And let me tell you a little trick. See how these two would look funky side by side? I'm going to go here and click on my eye, and the top of that eye is at 12.8 millimeters. So now I'm going to click on my J. I'm going to move it up until it's as close to 12.8 millimeters as I can get. That one little 1/100th of a millimeter will not even be recognizable by the naked eye. The P has a descender, it needs to go down, as does the Q. And see, those are easy because those have a baseline that you can line them up against. And so does the Y. So all of you folks out there who would need Alphat Trix, all of you folks out there that have purchased fonts over the years and have embroidery fonts, that means they're fonts in an embroidery format, PES, HUS, VP3, VIP, any number of formats that needs to get them into their program, into their font list, so they can use them like a keyboard font as opposed to using them as an embroidery font where you bring each letter in at once, separately, where you bring each letter in separately. It's much easier to type it in than it is to import each letter. Both my kids have 8-letter names. So whenever I wanted to put their name on something, I had to file, import, or file, merge, B, file, merge, E, file, merge, N, and then line them up, then space them evenly. Whereas if I use this with those fonts, it takes all that hard work out of it and I can type just like a keyboard font. So let's go back to the beginning here. Make sure I haven't forgotten anything. And this font has letters. And up here you'll see there are a number of shortcut buttons. So if I select the O, I can use the 0 to 9 shortcut button. And then I can use the upper lowercase shortcut button on the A through Z. Oh, and I have some special characters. Let's see. The and sign is fine. The comma should probably be a little lower. The dash should probably be a little higher. This colon should probably be a little higher. I'm going to make this an apostrophe. I'm going to put my @ sign a little lower. There we go. And leave that as a period. I'm going to move my number sign up a bit. I'm going to move my semicolon down a bit. Okay, now let's go back to the beginning of my special characters. And then all I have to do is touch that key on the keyboard. So for my and sign, my ampersand, for my comma, for my @ sign, for my colon, for my apostrophe, my dash, my $sign, exclamation mark, parentheses, percentage, period, pound sign, quotation marks, shnikes. Let's move those up a bit. Quotations, semicolon, and backslash. There we go. Now this font is ready to be saved. I'm using the demo version, so I can't save it. But if I were able to save it, the save button would be right here. I would click on save, and this font would show up in my font box. I'll show you what it would look like. It is going to be one of these with the needle next to it, so I can tell right away which ones I have imported. So I can, if I'm looking for a specific font, I can easily find it. By the needle mark, the needle icon to the left of the font. Okay? That is Alphat Trix for now. We'll be doing another session later on this year where we will talk about what's new with Embrilliance, and we'll talk about what's new with Alphat Trix. It's pretty sweet. Let's move on to Density Repair Kit. So let's close Alphat Trix. Go back to our Embrilliance demo. Go to Density Repair Kit. Okay, you notice the most important thing with Density Repair Kit is you will have a vacuum cleaner. That is your clean up stitches icon. So let's go to File, Merge Stitch File. Let's bring in a demo design. Let's see, we haven't done anything with this motorcycle yet. Let's zoom in just a bit. Okay, let's look at that first with the density map. Really, it looks pretty good. It doesn't have a whole lot of hot spots, as I like to call them, or red areas. So I'm going to take this design, I'm going to right click on it, I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. And now I'm going to look at it. Look at all of that red. That is broken needles, frayed thread, and loads of frustration. So in order to make this design stitchable at my machine without yanking out the last little bit of hair that I have, I am going to come down here to the clean up stitches icon, and look at that. Just one click, and I know it's going to stitch beautifully at my machine because the majority of that design is just blue. There's going to be some red and yellow where you have tie-offs, where you have a little bit of highlights, multiple layers of thread, but there is no problem at all. There is nothing wrong with this design. It should stitch lovely at your machine. Something else that you have with Project Advisor in Density Repair Kit is you have the ability to set your project, which means that by coming here with cotton poly or quilted fabric or silk and set that project, it is going to create a design page that is suitable for that project. So now I've got lots of red again if I'm going to stitch this on silk. So let's clean up some more stitches. There we go. See how that works? I think that is pretty slick. There are no utilities in Density Repair Kit. The bulk of Density Repair Kit is the remove the vacuum. And when we click on the vacuum tool, we have the option. Let's go back to our regular view. We can use our filters. We can use automatic settings, limit the density, declump, and remove underlap, which is intra design. So that means, remember when I told you that remove hidden stitches and essentials would not work for a single design? Density Repair Kit works for a single design. So if you buy a design from someplace and it's just a little too dense and you need to remove some of that underlap or overlap, you can do that with Density Repair Kit. Okay? That's all I have for you today. Be sure and come back next time when we talk about, I think, Stitch Artists, or maybe what's new. I don't know. Don't forget to submit your questions. I will be here a little while after the program has ended to field any questions you have. Want to make sure that you know and love the software as much as I do. So thank you so much for your time. Hello again, I'm Debbie Cleek, and I'd like to thank you for attending the Leap into Embroidery event with Embrilliance Software and andthegrand.com. I hope you found it entertaining and educational as well. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you stick around as I will be here after the event answering questions. Once again, thank you for attending.